We are back at the Surfside, Kollel Boker. We are reading Enlighten Our Eyes, Rabbi Goldschmidt. It's all different tactics on Shemirat Enayim. We are on page 42, part 3, the Halachot. What are the Halachot of Histalkut? Looking. It is beyond the scope of this work to discuss Shemirat Enayim's many halachic ramifications, some of which many of us face daily. We do, however, wish to summarize the halachic parameters. So look here, he's giving now halachot. That's where we're coming into on today's. The unfortunate laxity prevalent today is perhaps due to the widespread ignorance of the relevant halachot. Just as a side note, Yossi, I went to school. I never learned Hilchot Shemirat Enayim at all. There was no class of any kind that ever discussed Shemirat Enayim. Not elementary school, not in high school, in the yeshiva at all. And I went, and I don't even think there wasn't even a class in shul in my life that ever had anything about Shemirat Enayim, ever. It was always one of those topics that got buried under the rug, and it was expected, but never actually discussed and spoken to in regards to emotions, in regards to feelings, tactics, ideas, acceptance of it, non-acceptance. This was all very unclear. Well, and that's what we're doing here. We're learning, we're reading it, and I assure you, this is going to be heard thousands of times. And
yeah, but in school, there's a lot of things that they don't teach.
Listen, that's the whole joke, is that most of the high schools today, most of them, it doesn't matter where, New York, New Jersey, here, Miami, the yeshivas, most of them graduate 12th grade kids with a very poor education. Unfortunately, this is the standard that exists today, so it is what it is. We're not going to reinvent the wheel, but it's not like they're leaving high school today with all the tools that are really necessary. So let's continue. The unfortunate laxity prevalent today is perhaps due to widespread ignorance of the relevant halachot. The pasuk that warns about guarding one's eyes is in the Shema. Do not stray after your heart and after your eyes. This informs us that it is full-fledged prohibition from the Torah for a man to either gaze or have impure thoughts about women. So it's two things. It's the looking at the women and then also thinking about them, because it's lo taturu acharei levavchem. Your heart is your thoughts, your feelings. Ve'acharei einechem is your eyes. Shemirat Enayim is not merely a chumrah undertaken by previous generations, nor are its struggles intended only for the frum or the chassidish. It was presented to each and every member of Hashem's holy nation. The Torah regulates our actions, speech, and thoughts. Interesting, that's an important line. A yid is not permitted to behave, speak, or even think without restraint. The Shulchan Aruch says in Even HaEzer 21-1, a man must keep himself well away from women. It is forbidden to jest with her or to survey her beauty. The Mishnah Berudah, Siman 75, Seif Katan 7, says that all opinions agree that to gaze upon any woman for pleasure, even an unmarried, modestly dressed woman, and even if it's just at her little finger, definitely comes under the prohibition lo taturu, do not stray. The prohibition applies to any female, married or single, and includes everyone other than close blood relatives, mother, grandmother, daughter, granddaughter, sister, and spouse. It doesn't say here sister-in-law or any of married people married into the family. That's interesting. So, obviously not interesting, it's well understood, but when you think about it, it's not so accustomed today, this type of thing of, a person just has to be extra careful. Let's continue. Gazing versus looking on page 43. What about looking without deriving any pleasure? This is called Ra'aya Be'alma Lefitumo, incidental looking, and is permitted. The Minchat Shemuel, however, proves that an Adam Hashuv should be wary of this. Of just looking. Meaning, who is Adam Hashuv? I don't know, someone that he feels is Hashuv. He has some prominent stature of any kind. Moshe Shmuel Shapiro Zatzal gives clear definitions. What is the kind of re'iyah that is prohibited and would consequently be damaging to a man's neshama when he gazes at her, taking note of her individual form and features? So when he's looking at the lady, he's taking a look at her features, her body. Merely seeing, however, with no pleasure involved is permitted. Does it depend on the length of time No, sometimes a momentary glance is in fact an intent gaze, whereas other times, even a prolonged look barely gets registered. So he says it's not really how long you're looking at a lady, it's what the intention is. Sometimes someone looks at a woman for 10 seconds, doesn't even realize that, but sometimes he's looking with an intention to look, and that's the problem. An example of Re'iyah Ba'alma.
If somebody looking with no intention, it's okay?
With what? With non-intention?
No intention, you just...
He's saying here that's an important part of the looking. That if it's unintentional, obviously she's modestly dressed. We're talking about a situation, and we're also talking about situations where they're the women that he should be talking to, not women he shouldn't be talking to.
You're walking here in the street. It's
walking here in the street would be a situation where you just don't look down at all. You don't look at them. You just look down. An example of Ra'iyah Ba'alma would be how. When walking down the street, we notice exactly where we're going without having paid the matter any attention. So if you're walking home, you know where you got to go. You don't have to look right, left. You don't have to look at what's going on. Similarly, regarding the isur of Histalkut, if the viewing is incidental and gives no pleasure, and if his attention is focused on some other business at hand, then it is acceptable.
So it's fine. No?
Yeah. So if the guy's completely, just looking around, but at the same time, you have to be logical. I always say this: you can't be stupid with yourself. Meaning, yeah, I get it. He's looking around, he's listening on his phone to something, or he's talking. I got it. But if looking around is going to cause him to continuously look at those things, and just look down, you understand? He's talking about a case where it's just raya ba'alma. It just happened, whatever. But if you're walking home and you know where we live and you know the type of people and the way they're dressed, then who are you fooling? Like you looking up, you know you're going to look at something that's going to be problematic right away. You know it. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time because of the way where we live. It's 95 degrees here and 100% humidity every single day of the year, more or less. So no one's walking out here with bulletproof stockings and, long up to their, arms clothing. So you have to be understanding of that. Continually monitoring and correcting where one's eyes are traveling is a basic component of the lifestyle of a yid. Anyone who treats Sheminat Einayim as an optional extra, which he is at liberty to decline, has deleted the clause in his contract with Hashem and thereby invalidated the document. Whoa! He gives a crazy, tough statement here. What does he tell you here? He tells you a person who doesn't want to have Sheminat Einayim, he feels it's optional, even though he says it in the Shema every day, and it's hard, and it's difficult, and it's challenging, but the standard, he doesn't want to accept that standard. It's like he took the contract that we have with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he erased a couple of lines, and he kept the rest of it. He's termed Mumar ledavar echad, an apostate. He's someone who, you call him a kofir, Mumar ledavar echad. It's crazy that that's the terminology being used, but because you can have a guy who seemingly looks the most religious, dresses the most religious, has everything that you would say looks perfect on the outside, but he don't care. He registered, listen, I'm not touching, I'm not doing anything, I'm only looking. He's telling you here, that guy's mumar ledavar echad. He calls him an apostate. Like, we sometimes... Yeah, lo akova kovea, lo me'il mo'il. That's right. That's why I love these Israeli pitkamim. You can't get better than that, And if a guy likes a different flavor ketchup, he says betam bereach and ma leitvakeach. Everything. Don't argue with me. Leave me alone. Like, let me do what I have to do. It's only the Israelis. They come up with, but it's great. It's great. Avidah mahkima. It's all from living in Israel. We were talking yesterday. You said we say Avidah Mahkima. I was telling Daniel yesterday, Avidah Mahkima. Leave Avidah Mahkima. I get the Ma'amrei Hazal that you become intelligent, which we see. Leave that. Even more, you feel the Avidah. When you go to Yerushalayim, you feel it. Explain to me that. I get Avidah Mahkima. You get Avidah, you actually, Hargashat Avidah. It's unbelievable. You don't go anywhere.
For good and for the bad.
But I'm saying, everywhere you go, you don't feel that. Only you go to Eretz Yisrael, you go to Yerushalayim, right away you feel it. It's unbelievable.
I'm just landing, I'm feeling it.
I know that. And by the way, I've tested it landing, keeping my eyes closed. Meaning, I wanted to see, would I feel it without looking out just to see, and I felt it. It's unbelievable. Yeah. In summation, he says, Strengthen our connection to Torah. Okay, that's number one. Keep occupied while on the journey. Next one. Having the right attitude. Next one. Overcome curiosity. Next one. Daven for siyata dishmaya. Next one. Avoid danger. Next one. Know the halacha. We'll end with that today. We'll continue tomorrow. Baruch Adonai. Amen. Amen.